everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of RISEUP Voices from the Frontlines. I am extremely excited today to bring you the story of an absolutely extraordinary musician, singer, songwriter, and you guys are not going to believe when you go to YouTube and you look up this man's music. He is absolutely amazing, and he will pull at your heartstrings, and he has a beautiful message and beautiful music. So without any further ado, please welcome Tucker Hart to the stage.
Hey, Krista. Oh, you're too kind. That was such a nice introduction. Thank you for that.
I was so stunned the first time that I heard your voice. And we met because of Scotty Frazier at Sargent Records, and
awesome man
in his amazing events. And he brings together veteran and first responder musicians and just some awesome people with just their hearts and their voices in the right place. So how do you know Scotty? How did you meet Scotty?
So we met at church. My wife and I used to do the volunteering for like pre-K kids, and he and his wife Stacia dropped off Ashley when she was, their daughter, really little, and so my daughter Miranda was in there, and we just got to meeting through church and started living life together. And then, they've been with us ever since, and especially during everything that fell out in 2011 with my health.
So musicians tend to just find each other.
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't even know I was a musician at that time. So I've only been doing this for 4 years. But yeah, we did. We connected.
So you have an extraordinary story of how this music career came to be. But let's go backwards a little bit and let's talk about, who was little Tucker? What were you like as a child? What did you want to do when you grew up?
Oh, yeah, I always had an idea of becoming a vet, and my mom had a friend who was a veterinarian at the time, and he let me come in, and I spent 2 days working in his office alongside of him when I was probably 12, and I thought, that's not what I want to do. So I didn't really have much other than I just wanted to graduate and finish up school, and I met the love of my life when I was in high school, and we got married a year after and been together ever since. So that's kind of what, young Tucker was just interested in being a vet or playing video games. Really, that was it.
So I've seen you with your amazing wife, and she is absolutely stunning and adorable.
Oh, thank you.
And so your life is just on a really simple trajectory. You've got what you're looking for. Everything is just kind of moving forward. What happened?
So I decided to start going. I was working my way up the retail chain, and after a lot of years of pushing and working hard, I became the store manager of a big box company, and I was going around making the rounds and about to head out to lunch, and I always make sure we have some really great regular customers that are always stopping by and shopping. So make it a point to stop and say hi to them. And as I was talking to her, my left arm started kind of getting numb, and I started feeling a little bit sick. I thought, well, that's kind of weird. It's just working long hours. So my co-manager came over and said, I think we need to call the ambulance. I was like, no, I need to go take a nap. Let me take a nap and I'll be fine. So she said, no, we need to call an ambulance. So that would have been my last nap. So yeah, I was having a heart attack, and they ambulance picked me up, and they were able to stop it inside of the van as I was going out. But a lot of horrible health issues followed that.
So this came out of nowhere.
Yes, yes.
There
Yeah,
was no warning signs for you.
nothing. When we got into the hospital, we found out that I had strep, had hit my spine and entered my brain, and that's really bad. So I'm very lucky to have survived that. But then started having seizures and uh, couldn't feed myself or change myself. My wife had to take care of me completely. I went from walking pretty normal to a cane to a 4-point walker and wound up in a wheelchair. And my wife had to do everything for me. And so now we understand. There was a lot of complications, but I finally have a diagnosis of spastic paraplegia with the mobility issues. So that's a neurodegenerative disease. So my walking is going to continue to get worse. Um, but I've had a few good days over the last 3 days. So just take the good with the bad, and when you can find good days, just celebrate and just try to enjoy those times.
So my father was a stubborn man, and
Mm,
he was like you in that, like, I'm fine. If you got
right.
sick, it was no big deal. And uh, he had a heart attack and he refused to go in because he was like, I'm not
Mm.
sitting in a waiting room. I'm fine. I'm just going to go take a nap. Well, like you said, he didn't wake up from that nap. So
Oh
for
my
those of you
goodness.
guys out here listening, when you feel like something's wrong, when you feel like there are symptoms of something that you don't understand, no matter how proud you are, no matter how stubborn you are, no matter how I can work through whatever it is,
Yeah,
go get the help that you need. That's definitely one message for you guys tonight. Go ahead and get the help that you need, because it's better to go in if you don't need to than to not go in if you do. So,
absolutely. And if you won't do it for yourself, do it for your friends, do it for your family, because they need you around still. And trying to be tough and brave, that's just going to send you to an early grave, unfortunately, in some cases.
so what was going through your mind in those first early stages when you're like, but I'm fine, and you're in
Yeah,
an ambulance and they're telling you you're not fine?
um, yeah, I didn't quite know what to expect. After they stopped the heart attack, the weird involuntary movements started coming on strong, and the seizures, and losing my mobility. I thought I was just uh, having some sort of a complete mental breakdown. So I saw a lot of counselors, and then she said, "Oh, you probably need to see a neurologist." And I wound up with a neuropsychologist, and they said, "Yeah, something weird's going on." So we just I I was not expecting how quickly things collapsed. I went from providing what my family needed, um, to losing everything, and we had to move in with my mother-in-law. Bless her, she's an incredible mother-in-law that took us in, and just feeling completely hopeless. I went from providing everything my family needed to just being in a wheelchair and just staring out a window all day, and um, just really feeling like I was just a complete burden on everyone and on society because I wasn't being productive anymore.
That's really psychologically challenging. How
Mhm.
did you how did you find your way through that?
Well, unfortunately, um, I instead of getting the help I needed, um, I I decided that I thought it was a weakness to ask for help. I thought I can handle it on my own. And during the beginning of everything, I was on a very strong medicine called Haldol, which I've come to find out you actually have to be hospitalized while you're on that. So that's what one doctor told me. But so I lost my mind when I was home, and was completely paranoid. I didn't want to leave the house, um, and I started thinking for some reason that the pills that they were prescribing me were going to poison me. So they prescribed a lot of pain pills. So I started to stash those because I was thinking they're gonna check my pills and see what's here and what's missing, what I haven't taken. And so I kept getting them refilled, but I was just stashing everything. And I decided, well, I want to turn those all in because, I don't need this huge supply of pain pills. And they said, well, you got to take them to the police department. I thought, no, I'm not getting involved with the law, asking me why I have all these pills. Well, they were prescribed to me, but my mind was just telling me that I'm going to get in all this trouble. And so once I stopped taking the Haldol and reality set in of how much pain I was going through, because they diagnosed me with arthritis and fibromyalgia, and with all the seizures and the muscles, um, and this is no fault of my doctor. They were doing everything right by the book, but they just didn't know I had all this stash. So I just started taking all of these pain pills, and I got hooked on pain pills. And I guess December of 2018, I tried to overdose, and that I got the next day I started going into therapy and getting help. Um, but that just showed me that I couldn't do this on my own. Um, and so the way that I got through that was, I just become a recluse, didn't want to leave the house. My friend said, "Hey, I want to introduce you um, to a musician named Travis Meadows, who's playing at Old Court Acoustic Cafe in Galveston." And Travis talks a lot about his struggles, the past struggles with addiction, how he lost his leg at a very young age to cancer, and the power that songwriting can actually heal the soul. And I thought, yeah, okay, I'll hear him. And I went in there that night not knowing what I was going to expect. And after hearing Travis's story, after seeing the things that he went through, and his therapist said, "Well, Travis, you're a songwriter, aren't you?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, what about you? You start, you know, writing a journal of things that are going on." I was like, "Man, I don't keep journals." So we'll start writing songs. And he wrote an amazing CD. He talks about his recovery. Um, and so that night, I I went and shook Travis's hand. I said, I'm a changed man forever. That was my religious moment. And I went home and I just started writing songs, and I was able to heal through that and getting the right kind of uh, medicine and counseling, and uh, being able to see all these psychiatrists. And I mean, just the love and the strength of my wife ultimately is, I mean, that's really what my wife and my children, uh, the love that they've shown to me throughout all of this is really what helped me continue to stay motivated and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how did your wife feel when the music started?
Well, she saw how much I was recovering from it. Unfortunately, after the pills, I had started drinking heavy, and I'm really happy to say that I'm 2 years, 8 months sober. And so um, the the amount of healing that I've had through writing music and getting out has been life changing. The people I've been able to meet, people I've been able to talk through their situations and help give them some encouragement of, no matter how bad the situation is, there's always something positive you can take from it. There's always something you can learn, and not to become bitter or hardened by the bad things that happened. But just understand that there's still hope, there's still light and love out there. You just got to keep pushing for it. She's been an amazing supporter, though. My wife has incredible, way more than I deserve.
As stubborn as you were about seeking help,
Yes.
was it easy for you to lean into your relationship and to use your wife as a support? And were you able to talk to her through those hard times?
I was, but I wasn't as open as I should have been, because here I just had this, you know, I got to be the tall, this strong, tough guy, right? And that, displaying any sort of insecurities or talking about what I'm going through is a weakness, which is completely wrong. Um, it actually takes more strength to ask for help. It takes more strength to talk about what you're going through, to reach out, make that phone call, to let people know, hey, this is what's going on in my life. I've been keeping it sheltered, but I need to talk about it with someone. And finding those right people that are there engage with you in that and help you walk through that hand in hand. And that's something I wish I would have known prior to going into it, but nowadays it's much better.
Sometimes we have to go through the fire to ignite the passion
Yes, absolutely.
of what we become. I think
Mm,
sometimes trauma is, I know people hate it when you say my trauma made me stronger, but personally for me, I would not be who I am. I would not be doing the work that I do if it wasn't for the history that I have and the struggles that I've gone through. And
mm.
my audience knows quite a bit of that. Uh, so do you feel like there was, do you feel like this was a necessary thing for you to transition from being comfortable and safe in the work that you were doing to do
Mm.
this thing now that reaches so many other people and helps change lives?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's gonna sound crazy. I'm glad it happened. I mean, my walker is right here next to me, and um, it's gonna sound. I can't explain it. If this didn't happen to me, I'd still be working retail and still be absolutely miserable. Uh, I mean, sure, I was providing really well, but I wasn't here. I wasn't home. I wasn't engaged with my wife. I wasn't engaged with my children. But because this happened, um, I've met some incredible people. My wife and I started the League City Folk Association, which is a free community event the last Friday of every month held at League Park in League City. And we have about 13 musicians come up. We had over 300 people in the audience last Friday night. And just seeing how much hope that's bringing to people, and people who are going through hard times can reach out and we talk together. And I'm, I would gladly live through it again if knowing the outcome that it is now, and that more importantly, I've been able to help a lot of people and give encouragement to people who are in some dark spots. Um, and yeah, it was necessary. Had it not happened, uh, I wouldn't be here talking with you. I'm grateful that I am.
So all my folks in Texas, you heard him, come down and show support for their organization. You can also see him at all kinds of other events. We will post links so that you can actually connect with him and see his schedule and know where you can find him playing. Also, you have an entire album on YouTube, right?
So my distribution company and I got in little uh, some complex things happen. So I'm in the middle of re-uploading everything, but it would be on my YouTube channel, just Tucker Hart. You see the little crow icon, but I should have everything back up by the end of this week, I'm hoping. But yeah, I have that on there. Oh, if you go to my website, which is just tuckerhart.com, you can listen to all my originals there for free. And so, yeah, I'll have those up shortly.
Perfect, perfect. And of course, I will add those links. Um,
Awesome.
what other tools and resources were really important for you as you went through an entire like physical and psychological and relational
Mm.
healing journey? What other resources did you lean into that were valuable to you?
I think the biggest step I took was making that phone call that and saying, "Hey, I need some help." Um, Getting with a therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Um, those are kind of some strange words to men, because like, oh, I don't want to talk about my feelings. I don't want to tell them what's going through. It will help you. It truly will. And I mean, there's incredible veterans who are psychiatrists and psychologists who have been through what you've gone through, and I mean, they can understand. I mean, a lot of things that you're going through that other people, wouldn't necessarily understand. But I encourage you, reach out, um, talk to someone. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I can tell you, because I was able to understand where I was coming from, the things that was happening, that, this anger and the pain I was going through was valid, and I wasn't letting myself accept that previously. But it's hugely helpful. So that's what I recommend.
Was it immediately helpful for you, or did you fight it a little bit at first?
I fought it all the way, all the way. Every time I was driving there, when I was able to drive, I I'd stop in parking lots on the way back. Like, I'm just gonna turn. I'm just gonna cancel. I'm gonna cancel. And it goes back to that thing where if you're not gonna do it for yourself, do it for your family. Do it for those that love you. Go out there and what's the worst that could happen? Yeah, there's it's go out there and just try it. Keep going. Just like any sort of therapy. The first time, the second time, the third time, you're probably saying, "Oh, I'm not really seeing much of a difference." Just keep going, because there's going to be that one day where things are going to unlock and click in place, and you're going to be much better off. And I remember the first time that it actually clicked. I was driving home. And I said, "Man, why did I wait so long? Why did I wait so long?" Because I could have had this relief and this understanding of how to process things years ago, but I've just kept it bottled up, and so that's what my 2 cents are in that.
That's a super important part of the conversation. I think people feel like every session is supposed to be a miracle. And I think that the journey is really stop and go. There's a lot of conversation that happens. There's a lot of background that happens. There's a lot of your therapist trying to understand you so that you know where to lead you to. And then there's the gaining the trust, building the relationship, and all of that stuff takes time. And you're just kind of going, why am I coming here just talking to this person? Like, we're just talking. There's nothing magical happening. I don't feel better. In fact, I kind of feel embarrassed because they keep asking me all of these really invasive questions.
Right.
And then there's a light bulb moment. And in that moment, it's like magic and a whole bunch of things click into place. And it can take months to get to those moments. But those moments make every single session before, it all builds on itself. So all the pieces that they put into place during the early stages, that will all click into place and give you a big change.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's definitely worth, like you said, it's definitely worth putting in the time and energy, as long as you feel safe and comfortable with the person that you're seeing. How long did it take you to actually feel safe opening up in therapy?
6 months. Yeah. Because like you said, it's all about building a relationship. But you need to, for me, I had to, I had to kind of make sure I could trust this person. So I'd give them little bits of information instead of just opening wide up. And after I could understand, okay, she has my best interest. She's doing everything in her power to help. And when I'd come back and she's like, okay, so I was thinking about this and this and this, and oh, okay. So it didn't just, hey, time's up, hit the bell, and she walked out. Even after our sessions, she was still working, which I thought, okay, this is someone who's actually investing in what I'm going through, and not just, okay, it's been an hour, thank you, goodbye. So yeah, it took about 6 months, about 8 months to a year is finally. I mean, and this was an appointment. There's twice a month is when I went. So, for people who go more regularly, you could see progress in a shorter amount of time. But just because I was twice a month, it took me a little bit longer. But and the times that I'd cancel or just not go, that was on me. But, it's two ways. If you have to be also putting work in. When they give you homework to do, even if it seems strange or or just something very awkward or unfamiliar, put that work in, because it's a mutual thing. You got to be there for yourself and put that work in as well.
Right. Everything is there for a reason. Neuroscience doesn't always make sense.
Right.
There is a reason for all the exercises, even if it seems really weird at first.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that. So now that you have started songwriting, that's the first phase for you. Songwriting is very different than actually taking the step and becoming a musician and playing and singing. And how did that transaction take place?
Well, I couldn't really sing that well after, going to meet Travis Meadows. Um, I was, I went, I couldn't play guitar and sing at the same time. And my hand wouldn't even open up enough because the arthritis was so bad. So I was using the ukulele and trying to sing. And I just, nobody was listening to me. I'd take my own quiet space away from people because I didn't want anyone to hear what I was doing. Um, but I would just these words would start coming out, and these songs I would start to write. It was like my like I was writing to myself, and I was discovering things about myself that I didn't understand through these lyrics that were just coming out, and that was a huge step. So um, during this time, I underwent 23 procedures called a functional cranial release, where they were trying to get my spinal cord and my brain to connect better, um, saturate my brain and spinal cord. But so they take medical grade balloons and they put them up your nose and into your sinuses. And on the other side, they have a canister of air, and they inflate these balloons inside of your skull. And so it completely it inflates in a balloon, that pops, and they pull it out your nose and they do the other side. Well, they go back and forth. What I was not understanding was each time they did that, it opened my sinuses more and more and more, and it changed my teeth, my nose. I was having ear bleeds, nosebleed, but my voice completely changed. Um, and so I was sitting here trying to sing, and like my voice was cracking, and it was getting deeper and deeper. So I was trying to think, well, what do I even sound like anymore? And I really have to thank Joy Williams. Joy Williams is an amazing singer songwriter, and she has a song called Canary. So I started singing along with her song Canary, because I thought, well, if I sing with a man, I might sound more like that person. But if I start singing with her, I'm just going to do my own thing because I'm just trying to sing harmony. I can find out what I sound like. And so this voice came out that sounds pretty familiar, and so it kind of reminded me of the old country and western. That wasn't what I was going for, but that was just the voice that came out. And so I thought, well, I can do something with that. So I decided to record my first album with my voice cracking and changing and barely learning how to play guitar and sing at the same time. So that was called Light a Candle. And so I think it's just a thing of, if you're afraid to do something, if you don't know if you're going to be good at it, just do it. Just try it out. And because I think you might be really impressed with yourself and whatever you're working on. Just give it a shot. And I think the worst thing is not considering, not trying to do that thing that you've always wanted to do. I'm 43, and I've only started this 4 years ago. And the first time I played anywhere was February 20th of 2020 at Old Quarter. They had a songwriter night. That was the first time I sung in front of anyone. And then lockdown followed shortly after. And so I thought, well, that was a short-lived career. So John Prine has a wonderful song called Hello in there. And so I thought, well, you know what? No one's able to go see residents at nursing homes. And so I know they'd like some entertainment. So I started doing free Zoom shows. And so I started playing and singing to them. And I do a monthly birthday show at Orchard Park in Victory Lakes for free because I just love the residents and love singing these old songs to them. And so I don't know, you can find some amazing opportunities await you if you just try.
I love that. You're bringing joy to people that are so often forgotten.
Yes, sadly.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, and you're totally
Yeah.
welcome to say no, or you
Uh-huh.
might not have the stuff that you need to do it, but would you like to play something?
Sure. I don't know how well it will come across the speakers because I just got my earphones on. We can try it though.
We can try it.
We can try it. Yeah. Let me give me just a moment. Let me find. Let me see here.
You guys are in for such a treat. Even if it's rough and even if it's messy, he is so beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you so very much. Let's see if I can even get it out with the.
So perfect.
Is that even coming through?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to do a cover song. I don't know if it's going to ding you for anything. We'll try and see what happens. I can always
We'll
do an
try
original.
and see what happens.
Okay.
It'll silence you on social media, but it won't on our normal very normal play. So
actually, I'm gonna go grab something real quick. I'm gonna do original just so we don't have to worry about that. I'll do
Yay.
First Frost of El Paso. How about that?
Yeah.
Just a moment. I'll be right back.
Okay, you guys, you are going to get a Tucker Hart original, and that is totally awesome. I hope that most of you listening have never heard his music before, and definitely do follow and like. And if you're in Texas, come out and see him play live. Come out and see Scotty Frazier, the Scotty Frazier Band as well. We are all a big group. We all hang out together. So here we go.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be playing the Lake City Music Festival this Saturday with Scotty Frazier and his band. They're backing me up. So if y'all are in town, please come out and see us. So this song called First Frost of El Paso, and I wrote it as a way to say thank you to the truckers. They do so very much for our great country, and I don't think that they're thanked nearly enough, especially their loved ones who stay behind while their loved ones on the road. And so I wrote it to take place in the 1970s because I felt it was a little more romantic that way. We kind of lost something with romance this day and age. But it's about a trucker dropping off his last load and heading home for Christmas. It's called First Frost of El Paso. Well, the weather outside's getting colder, and I hope you're in my arms. When that strong northern wind blows through those mountains, and there's snow-covered tops, by the time I reach El Paso, first frost will have set in. The cardinals will sing their snow song, welcoming winter again. Been driving for hours down I-25 on my way back home from Wyoming. Moon and stars are out tonight. And if I stop to count the miles that it took to get to you, and if I stop to count the quarters that I spent on payphones calling you, and if I stop to count the moments you were on my mind, they would match this beating in my chest the first time your eyes looked into mine. The postcard that you sent me sits upon my desk. Glance down at it every now and then. as these countless miles pass. And it says, greetings from El Paso. Kids are doing fine. Please don't worry about us. Thanks for working so hard to provide. This bed is mighty lonesome. And wait till you are here. Won't be much longer till you're home. I love you, my dear. Northern winds are coming. There's a chill now in the air. Just crossed into Texas. 20 minutes and I'll be there. Now I'm in El Paso. First frost has set in. The cardinals are singing their snow song. And you're back in my arms again.
Yeah, it kind of takes out your guitar a lot, so we got a lot of acapella, but
all right.
Our folks can definitely get the idea. And
okay.
I love that song because my husband is a retired firefighter who is now a heavy haul, long haul truck driver. So that resume, that hits home for me so hard because there's so many holidays that we are. And that Life 360 is my best friend. And I'm sitting there going, 20 minutes, yay.
Wow.
Right? So
well, thank you so very much. I so appreciate your family because, I mean, without y'all, man, we'd be in a real tight spot. I just don't think people appreciate y'all enough, especially those who stay at home. And I mean, because it's a hard job being a trucker. It's even harder being at home trying to run everything while the loved one's on the road. So thank you for helping make this country what it is.
It's a lot easier when your husband actually recognizes how hard it is to be at home and appreciates that. So it definitely takes a special kind of relationship to do that. That was one of the things that I really loved when I met you is I am so blessed to have a beautiful relationship and to have a partner who looks at me with love in his eyes. And when I met you and your wife, I could see that glow and that support and that, like, when you look at your partner with pride and you're like, that's my partner, you don't see that very often in couples these days. So when you see a couple that has that spark, it's a really beautiful thing. And I appreciate seeing that in other people. So I was like, oh, yes, those are great people.
Well, thank you.
Because you don't get that kind of love if you're not heart and soul, right? If you're not giving your heart and soul to your partner, you're not going to get that kind of love. So it speaks volumes about who you are as a person.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Well, also you're friends with Scotty, so you know that's a bad giveaway. But
true.
So before we go off, is there anything that you want to tell our audience? Any like favorite quotes or last words of wisdom? Anything that you just really want to leave them with?
That it's not weakness to ask for help. That it shows the most amount of strength that you can show to yourself and to others is that you're reaching out and getting the help that you need. If you're struggling with addiction, go get a network. Get around people who are working together with you on that. Fighting addiction is not something you can do by yourself. I've tried it. I failed over and over and over again until I reached out. And especially with psychiatry and psychology, that was the biggest factor in breaking addiction is when I could figure out what's going on in my head that was driving that addiction. So please get the help you need, get in a support network, reach out, take that first step today. All you're going to do is be extremely grateful, and you're going to say, like I did to myself, why did I wait so long? So just be strong and make that phone call, take that first step, please.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight, and thank you so much for putting up with my putting you on the spot and
I love it.
That song with us.
Oh no, I had a blast. Thank you so very much. I would have set up a little something so you could hear me better, but I loved it. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for having me out, Krista. I really appreciate it.
You are very welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, make sure you like and follow and share Tucker Hart. He is on Facebook. He is on YouTube. I believe you can also find him on Spotify, but I will include those links. I'm also going to include a special link for one of his absolutely favorite books that we didn't actually talk about tonight. But if you are going through some struggles and you want to know the power of songwriting and how that can affect you in a positive way, we're going to put that link for that book down there for you. And if you are going through the addiction struggle and you're trying to implement a sober lifestyle, you can go to RISEUP Phoenix Trauma and Crisis Institute. We will be putting out our Mission Possible sobriety support group, which is going to be an accompaniment for your therapy journey and for post inpatient, if that's something that you need for all of those processes. We're going to create an extraordinary network of people that can support you going through that sober lifestyle challenges and the journey that entails. And tonight I want to definitely thank our sponsors. So I'm going to do a really, really brief 20-second commercial for one of our sponsors. And if you love this podcast and you would like to be a sponsor and support our 501c3 nonprofit Battle to Be that serves those who serve country and community and does a ton of different crisis response activities, you can message me, Krista Fee, on any of the podcasts, any of the places where you stream this podcast, or on Facebook at Krista Phoenix Fee, or at battle2be@yahoo.com, or battle2be.org, our website.